How much does it cost to hire a nanny? I know that there's always an argument on social media about whether this is enough for a living wage. Some people are saying that it's not enough. Some are saying that it is enough, because where must people get the money to pay more, right? Considering the current economic climate. All the concerns are valid, and we can talk more about that in another separate video. For now, I'm giving you the breakdown that is legally required from you at the moment as an employer. So here are the costs that you need to factor into your budget. The minimum wage at the moment is 23.19 rand, and it works out to be 3.7 a month if your nanny works 5 days a week for 8 hours a day. But some months have 5 weeks, so let's just round it off to 4,000 rand and work with that. So even when there is a minimum wage, you must consider the nanny's experience and training. You also have to consider the duties, the number of kids, and the area you live in. If you want them to do housekeeping, how many rooms does your house have? All of those things will impact your nanny's salary. And then you have to factor in UIF and the compensation fund, which is mandatory. UIF is paid monthly. You have to contribute 1%, and another 1% must be deducted from the nanny's salary. So if you are paying your nanny 4,000 rand, you will deduct 40 rand from her salary, and you should contribute 40 rand. Compensation fund is paid annually, and this will cover any injuries on duty. You can't deduct this cost from your nanny's salary. It is very important to be compliant. There are various ways where you can register your nanny for UIF and the compensation fund. I know that at times it can be a nightmare to deal with government departments. It's like the system is set up for us to fail, right? I mean, some people have not gotten lucky with the online registration, and then when they try to go to the walk-in center, the system is offline. And so what happens is most people end up giving up on the process of being compliant. And let's be real, because it doesn't affect them on a personal level, that is why they end up leaving it. But think about the things that directly affect you when it comes to complying. Things like applying for a passport or a visa, or if you have to sort out your tax issues, you will make the means to get it right no matter what. And that is the same energy that you need to apply when it comes to you complying when you have employed a nanny or a domestic worker. You can register online. There are tutorial videos on YouTube, and also you can follow the Department of Labor's UIF pages on Facebook and Instagram. They have tutorials there too. You can also go to the Department of Labor Center in your area. They will be able to assist you. If you don't have time, there are consulting companies that offer admin services for registration. Just Google HR for home and you will find them. So this is what you can deduct from your nanny's salary. Accommodation, you can't deduct more than 10% of their salary for living positions should you want to deduct. And the room in which they will be staying in should be in a good condition. The room must have at least one window and door that can be locked. You must ensure that the room is fitted with a toilet, a bath shower, or has access to another bathroom. Those are the requirements for accommodating your nanny. Should your nanny want an advance or a loan from you, you can't lend them more than 10% of their earnings. So if your nanny works on a Sunday or public holiday, you have to pay them overtime. Other costs that are not mandatory but will be a significant contribution to your nanny's life and well-being is provident fund and medical insurance. There are products in the market that are affordable and tailor-made for private household employees, and most of them start from 300 rand. The stories you hear from domestic workers about them working for a family for more than 5 years and in the end they walk away with nothing is heartbreaking. It would be best if you thought about your employees' well-being. They are there to contribute to your child's development, and think that if you lose your income and go without a job, they will be able to sustain themselves for a couple of months while looking for another job. And like I said, low income earners provident fund is affordable. You can decide that you're going to take on the entire premium depending on your budget, or you can have a discussion with your nanny and contribute 50% of the premium. And you can activate this benefit after 6 months of them working for you when you are settled that they are the right fit for your family. So another cost that is optional is home content insurance if your household items are not insured already. And the reason for this is if your nanny breaks something in your house, you can't deduct it from her salary. This is not allowed. So rather insure your household items, especially if your nanny will also be doing housekeeping work. The cost of home content insurance varies from household to household and on your profile. If you want to work with your nanny on a long-term basis, you should have a plan and budget for a bonus and also give them a raise annually. So where I used to work, right, they used to give us 13th checks and they decided to change the bonus structure from 13th check to performance bonuses. This change was done abruptly because they told us in October that this is going to start in December of the same year. So I panicked because it would have affected how I would pay my nanny's bonus as she was used to getting the 13th check herself. Luckily, I got a fair bonus, so I was able to pay. If I didn't get a fair bonus, I would have seen flames. So it is very important to have a contract and state that bonuses are going to be paid subject to the availability of funds. And you must communicate in time if you won't be able to pay the bonus so that your nanny can budget accordingly. Other costs that will vary from family to family will be backup childcare. Your nanny will also need to take leave. They will get sick and need sick leave or family responsibility leave. So you need to always have a backup plan for unforeseen circumstances. What we did was we visited daycare centers around our neighborhood and some of them had a daily rate. So you can also look into that, especially if you don't have a family around. So with education and training, it will differ depending on if you are hiring an experienced nanny or an entry-level nanny. If you hire an entry-level nanny, you might need to invest in them and that is going to cost you. If you hire an entry-level nanny and you are not a patient person, you have to invest in training them because if you won't train them, then you're going to be frustrated. If you can't afford a nanny, but due to circumstances you need one, you can reduce the nanny's working hours to fit your budget. You can also look into nanny share where you can share a nanny with another family that is close by and share the costs. Please don't exploit your nanny by underpaying them and overworking them. It's not conducive and won't be sustainable in the long run, and your child won't get the best care anyway. So the question that I have for you now is, in terms of the cost, is having a nanny a better option for childcare for you, or would you rather take your child to daycare? Let me know in the comments what you think.